Hi, and welcome to week four. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. There are going to be 5 weeks. We had the 1 week of preparation. We are three weeks into house number 8, and it's a 5-week. I put 5 weeks in this. There will be a catch-up week next week. And let me see where will I put that. I'll put that there. So this week, getting into your house number 8 in your birth chart. There's an example of this in the book where I use somebody else's. It's an actual somebody else's birth chart that I used apart from mine. 6 planets, 6 placements in their 8th house, yes. And there's a breakdown. I think it's pages. No, I can't remember which pages it is. But I'll get into this. I want to back up a little bit to last week's just to catch up on where I got with that. And then I'll come back and explain all of this. I finished printing up all the planets. And I came into something really funky to do with those that popped into my head, and I'll include it in future publications. But what I want to do first, I went back into Sky Safari, and I'll just call up the images here. Okay, I looked up to see whether or not Mars is heading for Gemini yet, if the sun is indeed in Aries yet. Jupiter, yes. Now Mars is still, as of today, it's still in Taurus. So if it's going to get to Gemini, no, it's not in Gemini. It was supposed to hit Gemini yesterday, but it's still in Taurus. So we're going to know, and we're going to keep track of when it actually does. I'm going to keep track of when it actually does and make a note. And then Venus and the Sun are still in, this is Pisces. They are still in Pisces. So, where Venus was supposed to be direct in Aries on last Saturday. And it's not there yet. Aries is over here. And the Sun is supposed to be entering Aries today. But it's still down in Pisces. And I checked this with Sky Safari as well. So, again, keep track. And when they're in, then I'll make note. And it's just going to be like that. Because even, I'll check against the other Navamsas, yes, and see which from this is the most accurate then for that. But definitely Cyril Fagan and Donald Bradley, something is a bit off with this, and it might not be totally true, their calculations, I'm not sure what, but so yeah, wanted to point that out, and you might want to be keeping track of that yourself. And other than that, I realized that probably I'll figure out a way if there's something more helpful to be said about the process of this. But really, we're getting into territory where we'd almost need to consult. That's what we would need to do. But for sure, any questions and answers in the comments, shoot me some questions if you have any. I've been keeping up with that. So I wanted to backtrack. I made notes here. I went into Stellarium, I believe. Stellarium, and I went also into YouTube. I'll put links there. I found Astronomy Magazine has a good channel. And they did a video on taking a tour of Scorpius. So I picked up some information from them about some of the stars. And also, I got a story from them that I didn't expect to get about how the Maori Aboriginal, but the Maori specifically, New Zealand, what they name this constellation, and for them it's their demigod Maui, and if I'm saying that incorrectly, I'm sorry, his hook, his fish hook. And so what it came from that, where did I put it? I'm flipping things around, aren't I? Why am I flipping them around too? Slight problem of loose pages. But what I did was I went and I Googled this god Maui, or demigod, and the story of, there's a story I found, Tamaki Maori Village.co.nz, New Zealand. Maori culture in New Zealand, our favorite legends. Okay. And there's a story there. I just wrote it out so that I could experience it while I'm writing it. The story of his fish hook, which I could read out, but I think for time's sake I might not. Tarot.com I also found has a good YouTube channel all about Scorpio zodiac sign. That was a fairly helpful video. It was two guys talking about it. They had they're wrong with the tropical placements that they're relying on, but very right and sensitive to Scorpio nature. Good points about the opposition of Scorpius to Taurus, what it means, the flip, and then you flip that seasonally for the southern hemisphere, right? But because Scorpio would be spring, Scorpius would be spring in the southern hemisphere, Taurus would be late fall, yeah? However, but we've got the oppositions of worry, the worry they pointed out of being pre-winter and needing to have what you need, yeah? Needing to have what you need. Needing your supplies, yes, to survive the winter. And the ease of Taurus, which would be, or the ease of springtime, late spring, when everything's growing, right? And you have decent weather. So the idea of associating worry and preparation with Scorpius. But yeah, the balance between, and of course the houses are in opposition. So the 8th house and the 2nd house. I don't get into that in this book, but it's something worth thinking about later on. Just you can only take so much in, right, in one go. But the opposition of the financial house, of the 2nd house, the finances, the cash flow, the debts and everything, versus which would be worrisome often enough, right, with the transformative, powerful energy, the hidden wealth energy of Scorpius. And so there you have that. You do have a direct connection there between hidden wealth and immediate wealth, that kind of thing, and what you do with it, yeah. So I got into that with those, and then really, where's the, yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, recording, yes, battery packs, and me, and then I knocked the camera, yes. So I'm almost done with today's entry, yes, keeping up with that. And it's working very well just to keep it prayerful. I really, I like keeping track of the moods, the wavelengths. It's, and then surprising number of new and unexpected things come in. And it's been really quite heavy duty. I got myself involved in, there's some creative stuff that came along and I've jumped on it. And now I am working with the help of a South African Israeli Jewish author. His name's Sean Levine. I signed up for a Domestica course back a couple months ago, right? And then I was in a writing group, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation writing group, Canada Writes, on Facebook, and they had decided to have a writing competition. And the ideas for the writing competition that were directly connected to a poem that I had just finished promoting on Facebook through my self-publishing page. So either she's the person who put the contest together as psychic, or, you know, she noticed what I'd done after me making a comment about being a psychic co-writer, because I am one. I'm working on about 36 books or so, this being one of them, right? And so, yeah, no, like, I'm hoping for you all kinds of interesting things coming, and I'm finding I'm actually really sort of keeping pace. You know, as soon as I've said it, of course. And that's not to say, I mean, today I was actually ahead of schedule to the extent that it was to my disadvantage, and I showed up an hour early to my client's home. Well, I got to her neighborhood an hour early, and then I realized, and it took me an hour to get to her neighborhood. So you'd think I would have noticed that it was, no, I didn't notice until I was stopping by the coffee shop to get us breakfast. And yeah, so, you know, could say ahead of schedule, sure. Okay, now I'm working my way backwards, so I got to figure out where I put those pages. Another thing I'd like to point out though, yeah, I flipped the whole thing around. Okay. So we'll get to this in a second, but I wanted to go back to the planets because the thing I figured out, and I'm just going to put these over here so I don't get so lost trying to find them again. The thing that popped into my mind, and I'm really excited about it, is now how to show it. Let me see if I can quickly get it up on YouTube here so that there's a visual. And go into my history, because what I did, should have had this ready, I'm sorry. Oh, I've been busy. Okay, bear with me. I'll edit this out. Okay, this is what I did. I went back in time to the years, right? I've got songs of the 80s, 1998, specific to years actually, 1998. Because I realized that for each of these years, for each planet, yes, it popped into my head. It's like, well, what songs did I love? What songs did I love in those years? And so I've done it up here. I just made a note of songs that I love to listen to. So I went back and it was great. I'm going to create a playlist, right? Create playlists for each of your planets. Okay, so I just want to point that out. And now I will return. But that was awesome. I'm still in the middle of it all. I've got them all, I have them all printed out now. So I still have a few left to do. I have the moon, Black Moon Lilith. Ooh, smoky. Why did it go out already? Weird. Oh, I must have blown it out. Jupiter, Neptune co-ruling, Uranus and Saturn co-ruling, and that stuff, South Node and North Node I'll finish up. So I'll carry on with all of that in the following week. Oh, hang on. Let's see if we can get this lit again. Shit. Sorry. Okay. Poured wax all over everything. Not looking promising. Okay. So let's just take some time. But yeah, no, love that. Now, what would be best to start with? Are there any planets in house number 8, right? And so, no, wait, oh, right, because I wanted to keep track of, I split it up between the two systems that I'm using, right? So I'm using, you might not use Ezra Regiomontanus, you might use Placidus, whichever one you want, and then whole house, right? So the planets, in terms of which house 8, yes, because I'll have, here's my Regiomontanus, my Ezra Ibn Ezra, right, is the white, and the whole house is back over here in Gemini. Over here it's in Cancer and Leo, right? But so the planets are going to be different. The planets in my 8th house over here are Jupiter and Lilith. Well, Lilith isn't a planet, right? But an energy, so far as I know, an energy orb. Delo, the pilot man, I owe him for that on YouTube. And then over here I've got Mars and Saturn in my 8th house in the Ezra Regiomontanus. So what I do is I make note of it all and see which, I would say there's even a layering effect that works, that it's not necessarily even one versus the other house that affects. It's like there's so many layers to this that you could just say take them together and you get an even more complete picture. You almost hate to say that, but that's what I'm finding. So I keep track of, I break it down between Ezra, Regio, and whole. And then again, so which house does it, or which houses do they rule? And so I realize I'm getting into this more detail than I was the other sheet, but is there anything that I can see of? If you get confused, there's the example to check back to. I've only got so far as documenting what's in here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to come up with even just 1 or 2 sentences, even just 1 sentence about what it means to me. So I haven't got that far yet. You know, like doing some intuition, some intuitive work with what it means, or deductive, actually, more to the point, right? And again, with the planets, if I do that cheat sheet for you, well, not cheat sheet per se, but which tarot cards correlate, yes, with your planet placements, even the house placements, then that adds a whole other layer to it. Having said that, this is a pretty complex sheet already to start with, and it might be better just to save that for the tarot book. Although the tarot book isn't so much, it'll be concerning houses as well, but there's more to it than that. So I'll see how I get without doing a tarot correlation, and whether or not I think it'll break our brains. So I'm going to finish that up, and then that's really quite manageable. I'm finding it quite manageable. I don't know. But then, no, I'm not even I don't think I'm putting in an extraordinary amount of time. I think it's probably taking me about 20 minutes a day just to fill in, this part properly. Maybe not quite, but, by the time you're done sitting down and settling into it and thinking a little bit, right? And for these pages, if I'm spending even a couple of hours, I'm surprised. And doing the planet stuff was a riot. The songs. So I think what's left to do is I need to do my photo diary. I'm going to start collecting my images for that. I realized there are 2 weeks left to go. But we probably don't need to fill all 5 weeks into a photo diary. Depends. But I'll get on to that. And I need to go back to when I'll finish up the planets. Yes. I need to go back to not that. This is where the photo diary will be. We go back to the Baba Jolie messages that I remember from earlier readings, and make note of those, as well as the Tarot Victoria. I'm going to go back and rewatch these videos. That's what I'm going to do as well. And then really we're looking at, now that I've made a hot mess of this all over again, let's just get those out of the way. What we're really looking, done it again. Okay. There we go. By the time we get to the last week, and I just set everything on fire, why not? It's only paper and fire, Kristen. Yes. Come on, settle. There we go. Okay. In the final week, we've got this. That's long pages together. 76, 75, 77. There we go. There we go. 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. Okay. So after we're done this, there's the catch-up week. Yes? It says catch-up week right there. Okay. That's when I'll get everything else done. And then guides and concerns, which takes us to this final page. And this will be in 2 weeks' time. And we'll come back to it. I'm going to just keep doing weekly guidance videos. But I'm just going to give you, we'll just sort of get ready for the closing in of the 8th house. Future thoughts for this house. Who's helping you with it? I'm guiding you in it. And so it's kind of like any slush page for as well for ideas that are coming through that you don't necessarily have anywhere else to put down. And so I printed it up ahead of time just in case something starts coming through that I want to make note of, and just sort of start working the last couple of weeks together. And I think that's about it. That's about it. And we're coming to the end of, well, right now we're about halfway through. But it feels like what we want. Another thing we want to consider is pulling the information all together, right, from these pages. Let me give you a visual of what I mean. These pages, plus these pages, yes, and these pages, what it all means together, yes, what it's all, where it's all getting us, so that it's all fairly sketched in for the 8th house. And that's what we're aiming for the end of another thing would be submarine, the concept of a submarine. You might want to make some notes on, go back to the videos. Yes, I'll try and keep doing everything visually. The videos. Oh, that's reminding me. But yeah, and think about this submarine concept. Yeah, what you would do. I want to point out that we're heading for a full moon in Scorpius. Apparently. It should be, because it's in opposition to Taurus and we're heading into Taurus, right? So that will be a good releasing time for all of this energy. I mean, there will be a little bit of an after effect, yes, but full moons are good for releasing, new moons are good for manifesting. And tell me that it's not even recording. Oh, it is. It's a miracle. Okay, so yeah, we have that coming up, which I think is another amazing thing that they knew ahead of time that I wasn't even thinking of when my guide said to start this journey off in Scorpius. So it's just going to stay that way, because what a great thing to do to match up that first release. I also believe that because so that's the hot mess that is week 4, but I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Let's see, we've come done, almost done, then just these awesome. Okay, trusty eraser, nice and dirty for the shot. Oh, remembering also, and I'm gonna get this done, I've got the shots taken, so I just have to figure out some music to put with them, right? But the star, remember, the time of your renewal is approaching. By being brave enough to choose the riskier roads, and I've been doing that, and I hope you've been doing that, you will inspire those around you. And we certainly had that new moon in Aries, didn't we? And the Hierophant. So we're heading right into Hierophant energy, yes, with Taurus. This learning, this structure, this maybe teaching. Do you go from being the student to the teacher, you know? And realize the power of ritual and use it to make the normal magical and gain the support of the spirits. May the sound of magic be yours. So I'm just reading them out again for emphasis, a nice way to close, and I think I got all the cards out. So these I've included in the meditation. If I'm missing one, shoot me. And I realize the fridge is running and it's annoying. Okay, I'm going to sign off, and I will be back in a week. Thank you so much. Much love.